are you, Kevin? Welcome to Hornblower Cruises and the Wild Goose.
Very pretty boat.
Thank you so much. We're very proud of the old girl.
Now, the first thing I noticed, though, is the brass plate there.
Yeah, absolutely. John Wayne had those installed pretty much for cosmetic reasons alone. So the anchor, as they're pulling it up and down, wouldn't scratch the front. Yeah.
Gotcha. So all this time I thought maybe it was designed for, like, ramming those mines. But
not quite, not quite.
All right.
Would you like to head down to the ship?
Excellent.
She was built in 1943 as a United States Navy minesweeper. The YMS 328 she was built, and she served in the Aleutian Islands up in Alaska. This is pretty much where John Wayne did all of his entertaining in the war days. This is where they did all their sweeping. So a lot of through the years. This
now sweeping. Do you mean like sweeping the deck?
Minesweeping.
Okay.
Minesweeping. They used to have their minesweeping equipment back here during World War II.
Now this guy here, what's that like? John Wayne's crypt?
Not quite, not quite. There's actually a couple VIP suites down here that John Wayne, used during a lot of his trips to Catalina and stuff. So everyone from Ronald Reagan to the Rat Pack and so on all stayed in these staterooms down here.
It's kind of cramped. Oh, never mind. It actually opens up, as you can see right here.
Yep. There's two actually very spacious suites down there.
Very cool.
This was a little bit different in John Wayne's days. And then, and John Wayne always had it closer to the war days. It just had little ladders that went up on either side.
Gotcha.
So the grand staircase was added in about 1990, with the addition of actually this part of the ship that we're walking into now, which
is the art gallery, obviously.
this particular portion, quite a bit of the art on board, which either commissioned by Frank Torillo, who's a well-known Western landscape artist, or Pilar Wayne, who was John Wayne's widow.
Really?
So
she actually painted, huh?
Absolutely, she still does.
I need one of these rooms in my house. I don't know if I can get one big enough. So this is the bridge, the wheelhouse.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Now, one question I have is, this is the captain's chair, I presume. So John Wayne must have had really long arms.
I'm sure he did, but he wouldn't have needed it. He did sit in that chair, and he, of course, had a full-time crew on board. So
a crew of eight
actually. Yeah, they would maintain a full-time crew of 6, and then when he was on board, they would up that. So he kept the original helm station, the original binnacle, and of course the original commander's chair, which was used exclusively during war days by the captain of the ship. And if you look closely at the back there, you'll see the commander insignia painted on there.
Very cool. So this telegraph machine. So when I presume when I pull forward, the signal will be transferred down to the engine room.
Exactly right. So at this point, you would have just told the engineer that you want 2/3 speed.
I'm going to say reverse. There we go.
So right now you're confusing the engineer, but what happens is down in the engine room, it creates a bell system, and also there's the same exact thing down there, and then the engineer would achieve whatever you requested of him on the telegraph, and then it would answer back by a series of bells.
Is it still working?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We still train on it. We, of course, have a newer system that we use primarily, but the Coast Guard requires that if it's on board, it has to function, and the crew has to know how to use it. So we still train with it, and it still functions, and we would never get rid of it, because, as I said, John Wayne wanted as much to the war days, and we try to keep that integrity. Well, if you could talk to any room on board the ship, this is definitely the room you're going to want to talk to. This is where all the infamous poker games used to happen, at this very table right here, with the Rat Pack and Who's Who of Hollywood. The mural back here was actually done by an Oscar-winning set director, and it was hand-painted, and it was also part of the painting that was in his stateroom as well. So it's the same battle.
That's cool. I imagine it'd be pretty hard to paint in here just because of the humidity and the heat.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But this is where John Wayne screened about every movie that he made. He would, after each film he made, he would invite the cast, crew, all on board the ship to go to a Catalina cruise. And he had a screen that came down here. He'd put a projectionist up in the corner, and they would watch films.
And charge $20 a ticket.
The first wet bar that was put on a private yacht, a wood-burning fireplace that only John Wayne would put a wood-burning fireplace on an old wood boat. But
that's funny. Now, you're talking about the wood boat. This boat was built all out of wood.
Exactly right.
Right out of-
3-inch Douglas fir, this particular minesweeper was made out of.
Gotcha.
It was built in Seattle, Washington, so that was the most readily available wood that they had.
Now, from my understanding, because it's just a rush job for World War II,
absolutely,
that a lot of the wood wasn't even treated. That it was just cut,
absolutely,
shaved, put on,
and thrown on board the ship. Yes, they were. Time was, of course, of an essence when.
So these boats weren't designed to last.
Not even close. Not even close. But the funny side story to these boats is actually the Wild Goose's sister is also the Calypso, which was Jacques Cousteau's research vessel. So I mean, these boats have a lineage of standing the test of time, and the Wild Goose, of course, no exception to that.
That's because they have their own spirit, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right behind me is the Sands of Iwo Jima, or at least it was in the John Wayne movie. And as you can see, it's no longer a beachfront, it's now homes. Big, big homes, very expensive. Nice. Big brown house right there, that's where John Wayne's house used to be. It used to be a small little single-story house, but they tore it down about 5 years ago to put up this guy. And next to it, in the white one, is Nicolas Cage's old house. And he too also sold his house for the highest price. What was the price for it sold for?
$36 million.
$36 million, the highest price for a house to be sold in Newport. Mine was sold for, actually I don't own that house. On behalf of Easy OC, thank you and Hornblower for a wonderful tour.
Thank you so much. We love telling the story about the Wild Goose.
We definitely enjoyed our time.
Thank you.